want to show you today is how to correct models um, for anatomic orientations. So if you see right now, the world coordinate system is with the Z up and X toward the patient left side. And if people get a CT scan and they're not, positioned in an anatomical way, like perfectly straight up and down, maybe they're tilting slightly to one side, this could have a couple implications. One is if I'm making some primitive geometries, such as, say, like a box or something like this, um, this would not be positioned squared to my model. So if I need some geometry to do that, that's it would be easier a little bit if the anatomy was positioned aligned with the world coordinate system. The other thing is if you're doing some research and you would prefer, everything to have the coordinates positioned in a very specific way, so you don't have to do a lot of math after the fact. You maybe can align something with the world coordinate system so that your output analytical calculations could then be kind of more simplified. The other thing is if you're using world coordinate planes, like a YZ plane or something like this, like you want to mirror an anatomical structure from the left side to the right side of a person, then you can use those world coordinate, those world planes to do your mirroring without making additional planes. And then for the work that I do, if we're creating these like a surgical plan or something like that, we want to take a lot of screenshots of, hiding and showing different parts that show the surgical process. And it would be great to use like the number pad on the keyboard to snap to specific views, like an axial view or a sagittal view. And just by hitting the numpad keys, like you could get those views really quickly. And make sure that you have the same view every time. So for a surgeon who's used to looking at things on the screen, they really want them squared up to, let's say, a perfect coronal view. So I'm going to show you how to do that using 3-matic and mimics and using the transformation matrix that gets produced, which is not probably very well known. So from this demo file, you can see that the person's tilted slightly to their right side. The first thing we're going to do is duplicate one of those parts, the one that we want to adjust. So I'm going to change the color of it so it's more easily seen. And then I'm going to hit the G key, which is a shortcut for translate rotate. And I'm looking from the world ZX plane right now. And you could use this green circle to rotate that. And basically, I'm just going to rotate this until it looks kind of squared up. I can hide the old one. Make sure you're rotating the along this one. So I'm looking for basically the orbits and the zygoma bone on each side to be squared up. You can also use the line on the bottom of the screen to help show you what a perfect horizontal line looks like. So you can kind of line up each side here. See the top of the orbits, you can kind of use that as a guide. Okay, so if that's squared up on my ZX, I could also look from top down, and I could use the line on the side of my screen over here. Could also use the Foramen magnum. That looks pretty square to me. So I'm going to take this one and my maxilla over here, and I'm going to do this export and transformation matrix, and my entity is going to be my original one, and my target entity is going to be the one I adjusted. And I'm just going to throw that onto the desktop. Then I'm going to go back. I'll have the mimics open of the same thing. And here's my transformations tab. It's usually on the bottom of the screen here, so just double click that to pop it up. Hit the little plus symbol down here and click load and find the transformation matrix that's been down here. And now it inputs, basically this is a 4x3 matrix, which shows you rotations about the X, Y, Z axis, and then a translation, XYZ translation. So if I hit OK, then I would need to, basically this says, how should I move the original position to get into the aligned position? That's the transformation that's going on. And what I would like to do is apply that transformation to my image set. So the nice thing about this adjustment is you're not moving the patient's segmented anatomy relative to the imaging, you're translating the whole set of images by the amount that you did with the file in 3-Medic. So all I have to do is go to my set of images right here, right click, do transformation, and hit transformation 1, and you saw it tilted everything in my 3D here. And then what you could do is basically when you apply the transformation here, it also applies it to the parts that have been generated. So I could grab, I could just hit Control C on any of those parts, and I can now grab my pieces that I want, click OK, and then paste them to 3-Matic. And now these are translated parts, so I can just hide all the old ones. I don't need this aligned one anymore. And you can see this is the old one, so that's the original position, and this is the aligned position. So now when I click my axes, that's in the proper anatomical position, and I can use the number pad, and now it's fairly easy to get those perfect anatomic views with a translated, transformed model. All right, hope you enjoyed seeing that, and hope it's useful for you.